Most people are not familiar with the kinds of debt. They are just aware of the bad debt. The lack of common knowledge could be blamed on the lack of general finance programs and school curriculums. The deficiency of such a practical and crucial program leads to a lot of young adults struggling to manage their paychecks when they leave the four corners of their classrooms. It would often lead them making dozens of terrible financial decisions, employing ineffective strategies, and believing financial myths. One of those is about debt. When you talk about debt, there is always a negative connotation that comes along with it. Many influencers tend to push the narrative that using cash will always be the best way to go, and that using credit cards is a one-way ticket to financial hell. However, that is not always the case. These people fail to realize that you can turn the seemingly negative practice into a money-making cycle. Hop in and join us as we debunk debt myths and learn how we can turn debt to profit. Pennywise, the channel focuses on exploring wealth and increasing savings through life-changing practices about personal finance, money earning and management tips, avoiding hoaxes, and so much more. Our goal is to equip you with a Pennywise mindset through your journey to fund and help you experience the life you desire. So please join us on this exciting adventure by clicking the subscribe button below. The internal working of debt may be tricky, and one wrong financial decision can turn your car of financial success into financial distress. Therefore, defining the meaning of debt and its house as a good or a bad one should be a priority. Debt, in layman's terms, is something that you owe. May it be from a single entity or a whole company. Commonly done when you are in need of a large amount of money that you do not have or are not willing to spend. The payment terms would much differ according to the parties involved in the transaction. Now you may ask, what makes a debt good or bad? Money will always be money, and it all depends on how you use the money you owe. Let's examine the two. Good debt is the one that you would eventually result in a significant asset that could possibly result in more money. These are debts that would multiply the amount of money you owed. These are the kinds of debt that you can use to eventually build wealth. Examples are properties and shares. Bad debt is when you owe money that has no potential to generate income. These are debts that are just stagnant and usually for short-term pleasure. It does not improve your bank account and could probably pull it down lower. An example is high-interest loans. We have now differentiated the two. Now let's move on to the 6 ways we could use debt to build wealth. First up, you may start by borrowing money to invest in things that generate wealth. In the finance world, they call this gearing. You use the money you owe to be a jumpstart for a money-making source. An effective way to utilize it is in properties and shares since it enables you to generate wealth. When managed properly, the income you generate from the investment would be more than the money you owe. In return, you would not worry much about your debt since it would already be covered by the money you earn from the investment. Second, use the amount you build up from your equity like a home mortgage for another profitable investment. It may sound like a bad case of debt waiting to happen, but it is actually a clever idea to keep the money rolling. You can turn the bad debt into good by paying off your previous debts through a new profitable system. Third, cleverly use lump sums for long-term expenditures. You may use a part of it to pay off some bad debts and roll the money to conjure more. Of course, you do not have to invest everything. You may spend a little for yourself. Set aside a good amount and research stocks and bonds that could give you a decent return for your money. Fourth, learn to handle the ins and outs of your money. study, research, and ask how you can successfully accomplish your goal. Your seemingly good path to good debts might lead to a series of bad debts if mishandled. Fifth, take advantage of early debt payment cashback and 0% interest to open a new door of money flow. For example, you are planning to pay for the groceries in cash or straight, but there was an installment promo for a 0% interest rate. You can make use of this promo to use the money to generate more wealth. The amount paid would remain the same, but it would be divided without additional fees. Moreover, with inflation rates and prices often going higher and higher for some countries, you could actually save more money by doing so. 6. Many people would see this as impractical and a waste of money, but investing in education is never a bad idea. Some countries offer student loans so you can study and work in the future to pay off the fees used. By investing in education, you allow yourself to gather the essential knowledge and master practices that would be a big help in the future. Indeed, it may be unsettling to have a standing debt when you are still studying. Still, the long-term benefits of having proper education exceed the worries of having none. As a little refresher, good debt is when you owe money for something that generates profit higher than the money owed. Bad debt is when you owe money for something that does not reward you back. Good debt pushes your financial status higher, and bad debt pulls you lower. Compared to the stagnant money of bad debts, good debts are continuously flowing and reward you every step of the way. Learning to examine and be wise of the two is an excellent step to financial literacy and success. Well, that ends today's video. Breathe and relax because much information is ingrained in your minds today. Slowly take what you have learned and apply it to a better quality of life. Pennywise is always here whenever you are lost, serving you videos to help in your financial success journey. If you want to learn more about finances, consider subscribing by clicking the big red button below and ringing the notification bell to get notified when we upload new videos. Feel free to like and comment your thoughts so we'll know your feedback. Thanks for tuning in and see you again in our next video.